Mario is a puppet master controlling me and my life from the shadows. Okay, so obviously that's not true, but it sort of is. Have any of you ever gotten into something so intensely that's just taken over your life? I'm sure a lot of you have. Maybe it was a career, a sport, a hobby, or maybe even just a game that took control for days, weeks, maybe even years. Because it feels like ever since I clicked into a little single live stream, that my life has just been locked into a stream, and that by deciding to then go and watch a little indie documentary about a niche gaming community, I willingly jumped headfirst into it. But the flow of that stream, while being fast and brutal at times, has for the most part been a gentle stream that has slowly and surely just been taking me to see things and people that I never would have seen had I not jumped in. This is my story about how a children's party game called Super Smash Bros. Gave me both the greatest times of my life and also the biggest regrets of my life. Do the first one. Alright. So as I said, I got absorbed into this rabbit hole of a gaming community when I was 17, and I tuned into Genesis 3, which I now know is one of the biggest Smash tournaments of the year. And I got curious. I remember my friends mentioning a documentary about Smash, so I went and gave it a watch, thinking it'd be nothing more than a fun little watch. Something to pass the time. However, what that documentary did to me should be criminal. I feel like I was indoctrinated into a cult. But while I was watching it, in that moment, something clicked. And all I wanted to do was tell everyone I know about this small, niche gaming community. I loved it so much, I watched it at least 2 more times within 2 months with my girlfriend at the time and my mum's boyfriend at the time. I want nothing more than to get out my Wii U, turn on Smash 4, and get practicing. Because, I mean, while Melee looked cool, it just seems so hard. So, I'll just play Smash 4 instead. Except, wouldn't it be really funny if when I went to play Melee with my friends during our college breaks, if I could suddenly wave dash? That'd be really funny, right? So I learned how to do it, and that was it. I was locked in. This game felt like nothing I'd ever felt before. Like I could control everything, as if the character on the screen was my own limbs. It was something I'd only ever dreamed of from anime like Sword Art Online. But it was somehow possible in this game, on this controller, from 2001. A friend of mine who lived nearby reached out to me after learning that I'd gotten into the game, and he had actually been playing the whole time, and I never knew. He invited me over to play some games, and while the learning process was absolutely brutal to the point that I still reference it on commentary to this day.
Like, I learned the game, and the guy who told me to play the game would cargo throw me under the stage and not tell me how to attack. That was my first few games playing Melee, and I'm traumatized.
That was probably some of the most fun I've had playing the game. Now, I've always enjoyed competing. I mean, I competed in Yu-Gi-Oh! For a decade before I got into Smash. So when my friend told me about a tournament nearby, I was all for it. Little did I know just how different it would be. Now might be a good time to tell you about where I live. I know, doxing myself for content from my own garden. Pretty novel idea of mine. I grew up in this tiny little village in the southwest of England, and unsurprisingly there isn't much here in terms of people or diverse culture. We have 4 pubs and a lot of cows, so I mean, that's great. Luckily, I have an amazing mum who got me driving lessons as soon as I could, and I could drive pretty soon as I turned 17. Which allowed me to start travelling to events and getting out of my comfort zone, which I had to do because that place sucked out here on my crappy little town's internet. The first event I went to was in Bristol, which is rated the worst place to drive in the whole of the country, so that was fun. When I got there, I went to sign in at the desk, told them the tag that I had created a few weeks prior, Chaler, and headed on in. I thought it'd be similar to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event. I play my few matches, I talk to people I know there, and, leave afterwards. But little did I know it would be quite a big difference. The biggest thing being that if I even really wanted to play the game, I had to play friendlies. Which, God, to do that, I would need to talk to people. I know, just a simple, can I hop on and can I play a game? Can I hop on this rotation? However, to a socially anxious teen, this small hurdle might as well have just been Everest. So all I did was stick to my mate and play games with him like a leech. And when he was playing others, I looked for any setup on there that didn't have anyone already sat down, so that they had to ask me to play games. Great hack, by the way. Now, I'd love to say I quickly broke out of my shell and the game turned me into this little socialite. However, it would probably be 2 years of about the same kind of thing at every tournament I went to. I did get a bit better throughout that time, but I was still mostly inclined to not jump out of my comfort zone. However, that would change when I found my local community. Or should I say, almost founded it. See, when I went to university, I just so happened to, on my first bus there, catch someone in my course who also was interested in getting into Smash. And this person, being way more of a socialite than I am, had chatted to a few people on the course already who also wanted to get into Smash. So just like that, we basically had a local scene, just showing up at someone's house every week, 8 of 4 to 6 of us, like, showing up each week to play some Melee. And soon, we found other Melee players in our area. And then we had a regular 8-9 person weekly at someone's flat. We even streamed it. Smash literally gave me the friends that I would have throughout my whole university. We travelled throughout our country together. We travelled to other countries together. And slowly but surely, having this group with me when I went to other tournaments, it gave me more confidence throughout the wider community. I became familiar with other people to the point that I would call them my friends. Smash was slowly turning this introverted, anxious teen into someone who was well-travelled, someone who could hold a conversation with a stranger, someone just generally more confident in themselves. I think the point I realised this was at Air 5 in 2018. My girlfriend, then fiancé, decided to come along with me and showed how much more outgoing I was, how much more social I was in that group compared to others that I was in. This would only compound through the years, and the more I travelled, the more people I met, the more cultures I interacted with, I felt like I became more and more of a well-rounded person. This would continue as I went through and out of university, eventually moving in with my fiancé in our own place in the same area that I went to university and founded that local that I still attend. When the pandemic hit, I started streaming and I posted some of my first YouTube videos to this channel. Something I probably wouldn't have gotten back into if there weren't people in the community who are now out there and willing to watch me and interact with my streams and videos. While connected to Smash, this gave me probably one of the first things outside of it that I really felt passionate towards and really enjoyed. And then in 2021, I ended up getting married, and the people that I'd met through this children's party game celebrated and cried with me on that day. I remember thinking that without that dumb game, I might not have had the courage to give a speech at my own wedding, if I hadn't already spent years yelling at people to pause their friendlies at locals. Admittedly, the speech was a lot scarier though. The following year, that foray into streaming would land me a job at a startup company that was trying to get into social media, which would somehow snowball into giving me the opportunity to chase after this channel of mine full-time, making videos about this dumb party game that had given so much to me. I could finally express my love for it and the stories and concepts within this game and community. This all sounds great. I mean, it mainly sounds like I made a video just to brag to you about my great life. But I promise you, I didn't clickbait you with the term regret, because up to this point, I've mainly been talking about myself in that current moment. However, a lot has changed for me in the past year, unfortunately. As you may have been able to tell, I'm not wearing a ring, and that's because I'm ashamed to say that in last year, my marriage, almost as soon as it began, basically ended. Did end. And it's probably the most world-shattering thing that's happened to me in my whole life. But, I mean, it's also put a lot into perspective. The saying that the closer you are to something, the harder it is to see it, has really hit home for me in this year. I mean, I've had to move back to my hometown because I couldn't afford to live by myself, so I'm back in the countryside living with my mum. Not the proudest thing I've had to say. I've had to take a step back during all this to evaluate a lot of things. I thought I had everything. I was chasing my dreams, living with the love of my life, and indulging in a hobby that just brought me so much joy. But in all of that, I missed the things that I was neglecting. I missed my friends I didn't talk to as much because I only played Melee. The same friends that, after I took a step back from everything, have supported me through all of this. I miss the simple things, like even playing other games. I don't think I beat more than 1 or 2 single-player games other than Pokemon during my time playing Melee. And now, since this last year has began, I've begun to enjoy different games again. giving me more to talk about with people who share my interests. I just missed out on other hobbies in general, maybe sports or anything. And now that I'm out of it, I'm starting to look and try new things again. However, there are things that I just can't reconcile on. When I started uni, I had my own little startup business doing card vending for Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon cards, and it was honestly off to a good start. So I was hoping to continue it while I was in uni. However, I decided that I want to put most of my free time into practicing Melee so I could be better with my newfound scene. I could come back to my business later, I thought. But looking back, I think I just got so sucked into the game that I couldn't think of doing anything else. In fact, doing anything else made me feel guilty that I wasn't practicing to get better, which, I mean, if you aren't trying to be the best in the world, just comes off as like an extremely toxic thing looking back. Who knows what I might have had if I continued doing that, what skills I might have gained, but now it's just an avenue that's lost to me that didn't need to be. And while my marriage ended for a slew of reasons, the fact that I didn't realize until it was over that I never went on a holiday alone with my wife, even for a honeymoon, because I spent so much time traveling and spending money on events and going abroad for events with other people, is something that I just don't think I'll ever get over. I decided to shoot the video like this, here on this bench, because it's a place in my hometown that has a lot of meaning to me. In fact, everywhere in this video is somewhere that means a lot to me and has a lot of sentimental value. I've had plenty of hard talks and reflective moments here on this bench that I'm now deciding to share with you guys. Because I've realized while Melee and Smash gave me so much, I also got just way too absorbed in the practice and the wonder of the travel and the people I met, that when I lost half of me and it was all I was left with, I had to look at myself and realize that I wasn't the well-rounded person that I thought I was. In fact, what else was me that wasn't tied into Smash? Where does Chaler end and where does Josh begin? God, that's really cheesy. It's not a question that I could answer then. And honestly, with Smash only taking a bigger part of my life with this, it's a question I still can't answer really as for now. So I just have to try and keep a hold of it and make sure don't stop asking it. And I hope one day this channel grows so I can start my video production a bit more and I'll have a bit more time to pick up some other hobbies and not just spend all my time editing videos. But that's just where I am for now. So why did I make this video? Why did I think that my story is worth telling and putting out on a public video format for thousands of people potentially to watch? Well, I mean, I just hope that you can learn something from it, really. No matter what your hobby is, no matter what you enjoy, it's just so easy to put all of your self-worth into it and lose yourself and not have a time of day for anything else. And that's not always a bad thing. I mean, some of the coolest things people have ever achieved in life have been from those people who single-mindedly chase after like one thing. Yet, I mean, if I learn something, it's that it's still so important that you don't let that consume you. Make time for your friends, make time for your family, and make time for yourself. Smash has given me so much, and I would not trade it for the world. The experiences it gave me, everything but that doesn't mean that I couldn't have taken a more measured approach. So if you watch this and you find yourself scarily relating a little too hard, maybe it's time to just take a little step back and really make sure that you're where you want to be. But in the end, I mean, we'll all find out that eventually. So, here's to a great year. Here's to a great 2024. I'm sure the future holds a lot more for you, me, Smash, and Chaler. Chaler. I don't even know how to pronounce my own name. I made it 7 years ago. What's that about, bro? Wow, you made it all the way to the end of this weirdly philosophical video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll be back to regular content next month. I mean, sometimes you just gotta get stuff off your chest, you know? Speaking of stuff to get off my chest, I gotta thank you amazing patrons. Big Biss, Dan the Man Landon, Mr. Steal Your Business, Coco, Nya, Jarek Ford Focus, Tingly in My Jungle, I Could Really Use a Snugs, and Stop Making Me So Damn Hungry Beef Steak. If you want to support me and get access to my Discord and exclusive content, it's just $1 a month, so check it out and maybe I'll read out your name in a questionably funny way. See you next video.